welcome here to a very special edition of the Bearcat Breakroom. I am here with a champion. Brevin Cassella is here with me from Binghamton Bearcats Wrestling, and I am so happy to bring him in as WakeUpCall is on the road, running around. We had to take some time away for this Bearcat Breakroom to put a spotlight where it should be on this wrestling program in general, which has been tremendous for Binghamton, and of course on Brevin's career. Brevin, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Just feeling good. Just finished up a long weekend, so yeah, feeling pretty good.
EIWA champion. Has it sunk into you yet?
Yeah, it was cool to celebrate the past 2 days, but I'm trying not to, hold on to it too much just because we got a big couple of weeks coming up. So yeah.
Now, just bring me into the event and just being there, being in the moment. Paint a picture for people that are watching and listening.
Yeah, so I mean, the IWA is, one of the oldest conference, if not the oldest conference in wrestling. That was, I think it's 121st championships. So, there's a lot of history behind it, a lot of culture behind the EIWAs. You have dating back, to 120 years. So, it's one of the premier conferences throughout wrestling, and the atmosphere there is probably only second to the national tournament, and at least for our schedule, but I mean, this was my first year in the finals, and it was it was a really good experience. There was a decent crowd there, had uh, a pretty good Binghamton crowd as well as other fans just being there. I know the academies always travel well, and they bring a lot of fans. Lehigh obviously was the host this year, so they had a good crowd there, and overall it was just a really cool atmosphere to be in, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to compete there, and I'm excited to do the same in Philadelphia in 2 weeks.
And just what you can say to, like you said, is your first time in the finals, just getting there and what you feel like got you there, how you got there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a mix of things, between like our training. We train every day to, be the best in the country and, beat those best guys. And I would say this year, the biggest difference for me, I was in the semifinals the last 2 years, and I ended up losing those matches. But, the biggest difference for me this year is I fully believe that, I was the best guy in the weight. And, seedings came out, and we were actually laughing about it a little bit the other day before the tournament. Kyle was talking about how I was a second seed, and it was just EIWA does, I don't know what like formula they have for their seeding, but I had beat the guy who was like the 1 seed earlier in the season. So we were laughing about it and everything, and it was a little bit it would have been a little bit tougher of a path for me just because I would have had to go through two top 15 guys in the country to win the tournament. But it was exciting because it was another challenge, and I fully believe that I was the best guy in the weight class, and that was just the confidence I took into the tournament. I think that's what really helped me this weekend. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, to have this moment for you, for your team, for Binghamton, have you felt the weight of that? Has that hit you yet? I mean, to be a champion and to do it in the EIWA, like you said, just the longevity, the history of this conference, to have the military academies, like just there's so much that goes into the EIWA. Has it hit you that you're going to be etched in the history of not just Binghamton, but in this?
Honestly, I don't know if it has yet, but hopefully I can, set an example for, other guys, and, we can, this is something that, help us out with, like recruiting and, bringing guys in just to show that, this can be done at Binghamton, and it has been done before. Obviously we've had previous champions, but, you know, um, staying current, I mean, that it just helps. If we're building a winning culture here, and I think that we can really emphasize that Binghamton is a wrestling school, and I think we have to have champions at the IWA level, All Americans the next level. So I think overall as a team we did really well this weekend. We had a group of guys that was tough and wrestled really well, and we're hoping to get a couple more bids for the national tournament coming up. But Corey wrestled great too, so that's a testament to him. And I think that we really are trying to do a good job at trying to grow our program and hopefully solidify ourselves as that top tier wrestling school.
And just how close you feel like Binghamton is to that, or if you feel like you're already there, that you can call BU a wrestling school.
Yeah. I think, you have to, as a team, you fully have to believe it first before anyone else does to be there. So I know what, this team has. And, Kyle's talked about it too. He says he thinks this is the best team that we've ever had. And, I fully believe that too. I know we have a great group of guys, from top to bottom of the weight class, starting from, from going from Carson all the way up to Corey. And, it's just about proving to everyone else that we're a top tier school. I already think that we are, and I think that's just gonna have to come with um just again proving that to other people.
And so few people can call themselves in this world of any sport a champion. Thinking back to young Brevin wrestling, thinking I can do this, I might be able to be somebody someday. You're just out there messing around with your cousins or your friends or whatever, and take somebody down, and you're like, yeah, I can do this. To go back to young Brevin, what would you want to say to him right now that you're a champion?
Um, it's honestly been a full circle moment because as a kid, I don't think I would have ever thought that anything like this was possible. I'd always loved wrestling, and I always had been really good at it, or at least for where I was at the time. But if I was just to go back and tell him something now, is just just enjoy every single moment. I'm coming up on my last couple of weeks, so just enjoy every single moment you get, whether it's running a couple more sprints in practice, or cutting weight, or just hanging around the locker room with the guys, something like that, traveling with the team, coaches. Just cherish every moment, and don't take anything for granted.
And like you said, you got a couple more weeks, but speak on Philadelphia, what the next step is, what comes after being an EIWA champion.
Yeah, so I think winning that tournament definitely helps me put myself in a good spot in Philly. And the next step is what we've been working on since I got here, just being a national champion. That's been my goal for the last 4 to 5 years. And I think this year I fully believe that I can be a national champ. So that's my goal, and I know that's also Corey's goal for this year's just get on top of that podium in Philly.
And you and Corey, just what the dynamic has been like between the two of you, how you push each other. You're both incredible at this sport. You're pioneers and beacons of hope for the future, beacons of this program, lights in the dark, so to speak. There's so much going on in collegiate athletics, but you and Corey both have a place in Binghamton to make an impact. You have. How how has that dynamic been between the two of you, and how do you make an impact?
Yeah, I think it's great because I think and honestly is made us a lot closer. Like Corey is like one of my best friends, and he'll be like one of my best friends for the rest of my life. So um I think getting to just set that example for other guys has definitely helped us grow as individuals. And you know it's hard to figure out exactly, but I know it's just going to some of these tournaments, just it makes you like a lot closer with these guys, and we're holding each other accountable in the room every day. So I'm really proud of Corey. I know I feel like he would say the same, but yeah, I mean it's been great with him the last couple of years, and I'm excited to do it one more time with Corey.
And to do this one more time, just what you guys have spoken about with this, knowing that you have one more run, one more opportunity, potentially call yourselves national champions. The fact that you're not doing it alone, what's it like to have a fellow Bearcat with you?
It definitely makes it a lot easier just because it's not all that not necessarily pressure, but I mean, I guess a little bit maybe that you just put on yourself, knowing that another guy like who is doing the same thing as you, like one of your best friends is going through the same thing as you. He's experiencing the same thing. Like he knows he's been there before too, so like he knows like he's won matches there, experienced guy. He knows how to win, and he knows what it's like to be there. So I think it definitely helps, and it definitely helps just having familiar faces there, and someone to look over to if you just need like a pygmy up there. Say call doesn't go your way, you see him just cheering you on in the stands or something like that. And I think it definitely helps you having those guys there. I know the past couple years too, just being able to watch Louis and Jake, and even getting back to my first time qualifying, Joe Doyle, just being able to watch those guys compete, it definitely takes like a lot of that pressure on me. I know Kyle talks about in the room, those guys are doing it, so why can't I? And I hope that I can also, set that example for some of the younger guys on our team too.
Grit, technique, and the element of surprise. Are you bringing anything else in your tool chest in this run for a national championship?
Just confidence. I would say a lot of guys, it's towards the end of this year. You don't really want to change anything up. You got there for a reason. I know the kind of wrestler that I am, so I know if I can be confident in my abilities and stick to what I like to do in my game plan, that I can win a national championship. So that's really the only thing I'm bringing is just the tool set that I have and the confidence of the tournament. So I think that's really all I can do at this point.
That focus that you have right now. I mean, you're already an EIWA champion. You were honored on that day. There's so much to take away from that moment. How do you stay hungry? How do you stay focused? What is it that keeps you just locked in at all times? Because they talk about, people resting on their laurels. Sometimes people lose focus. What keeps you focused? What keeps you locked? What keeps you saying like, yeah, this is great. This is a wonderful moment, but I got more work to do.
Yeah. I think, it's just setting my goals high. Obviously winning a national championship is not a very easy goal. And if you set your goals high, those other accomplishments will come, as you work your way up to that big one, or as you're striving for that end goal. And also I'm just trying to emphasize right now, just really opening up and being the best wrestler that I can. So just trying to wrestle the best of my ability, and those accomplishments will also come as I'm doing that. So that's really what I've been trying to focus on.
Well, to speak to a champion after speaking with you this season, Brevin, and having the opportunity to just get to know you, get to know your story, get to know your why, I have to say that this is really, this is one of the reasons why I'm in the business, to get to see people that tell you what they hope for and what they enjoy and what they love, and then see them go after it and achieve it. So I want to say for you and for everybody on the wrestling team, thank you for the work that y'all have done and for the way that you represent, and you really have brought it home. You've made it personal, and
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you do like so much for us too. Like, this definitely helps if we're you talked about before, like establishing ourselves as like a top tier wrestling school. Talking to you and just getting that exposure, it definitely helps us, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of guys on here soon too.
absolutely. Well, I'm going to give you the last word, Brevin. What do you want to say to Bearcat Nation? What's your final word?
Um, just there's a lot to be excited for with this program, and especially in the upcoming 2 weeks in Philly. I think there's a lot to be excited for there. But got a great group of guys, great coaching staff, and the fan base in Binghamton should be really really excited for that.
Coming here from Brevin Cassella in this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom from the Binghamton Bearcats wrestling program. It is an EIWA championship and on toward the hopes of the national championship. And if you've been around the story at all, if you've seen any of this, then you shouldn't be surprised that Brevin is here. The energy is here. I feel like I'm going to be talking to a national champion. I already am. So I'm looking forward to it, Brevin, and I'm in your corner.
Thank you.